it. But as of right now, the Fever look good, man. Kelsey Mitchell, 17 minutes, 18 damn points, 7 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range. Now, with all that being said, KK came in and looked very, very good. Michaela Timpson played 25 minutes, 11 points. She was 3 of 3 from the field, man. Let's go, bruh. KK, Justine Prescott is going to be a major keep for the Fever, I feel like, man. She played 10 minutes and had 8 damn points. A young lady.
The Indiana Fever traveled to New York and walked out of Barclays Center with a commanding 109-91 victory over the Liberty, sending a clear early message about what this roster is capable of in 2025. Breanna Stewart's post-game press conference said plenty without saying much at all. Her expression and demeanor following the loss reflected the kind of surprise that comes when an opponent performs at a level beyond what was anticipated. Stewart did speak about her own game, noting that she settled in after the first quarter and found her rhythm through ball screens and post matchups. She felt comfortable pulling transition threes and described her health as a genuine factor in how freely she was able to move and shoot.
Damn points. The young lady shot 50% for 3. And I'm telling you right now, incredible game, man. Now, just like I stated, Breanna Stewart, look at her face, bro. She just cannot believe the Indiana Fever came in there and kicked their ass. I mean, damn. Let's listen to this.
Hey, Coach, you had a lineup triple big with Stewie, Sue, and also JJ. Just looking towards the future. I mean, what could that lineup kind of possess? Moving.
Her 2 made threes were highlights, but the broader story of the night belonged to the visitors. The Fever's offensive output was shared across the roster in a way that will draw attention from coaches and analysts alike. Kelsey Mitchell led the way with 18 points on 7 of 12 from the field, including 2 of 3 from deep, all in 17 minutes of action. Sophie Cunningham added 13 points in 14 minutes, shooting 50% from 3 on 3 of 6 attempts.
Kind of possess moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to take a look at it. I think obviously it gives us skill and shooting. So we can play a lot of different ways, and then we like the switchability defensively.
And then also, nice year Pryor coming off the bench, had 4 steals in this game, had some nice defensive possessions, especially as a point of attack defender. What did you see from her today?
Yeah, I mean, there just comes a moment in everyone's career where you have to try to make a name for yourself. And this was her opportunity to go out there and, even though it's just a preseason game.
Michaela Timpson contributed 11 points on 3 of 3 shooting in 25 minutes. Justine Prescott came off the bench and posted 8 points in just 10 minutes, hitting 50% from 3, marking herself as a player the organization will likely lean on heavily this season. Caitlin Clark played around 17 minutes and added 7 points, with the coaching staff clearly managing her minutes in the preseason setting. Liberty head coach Chris DeMarco addressed Indiana's defensive approach directly in the press conference.
Preseason game, show her abilities. So I thought she played well, and I thought she brought us good energy.
Breanna, I mean, you talked about you're feeling healthy and good, but just what you were able to do at the beginning of the second quarter. I mean, can you talk about just how good you felt out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just settling in after the first quarter and really finding getting downhill. I felt like, whether it was inverted ball screen or...
He acknowledged that the Fever were physical and came in with a clear identity, noting that their scheme was specifically designed to take away corner threes and force New York into different looks. DeMarco said his team was focused on running a handful of sets and finding rhythm rather than forcing shots, and he remained unconcerned about the three-point attempt numbers given that getting to the rim or the foul line was always a viable alternative. Hahn, the Liberty 6'11" center, spoke briefly and honestly about the adjustment process of playing with a group that had only been together for a few days. She acknowledged some turnovers and difficult moments, but felt the overall effort was there from everyone on the floor.
It was inverted ball screen or, just a post-to-post one. The matchups got messed up, and I was able to get whatever I wanted. And then transition threes are like the hardest thing to guard, and being ready to pull it.
Hey, Chris, obviously Indiana was pretty, hell-bent on taking away corner threes, just not generally helping as much off the line. What kind of challenge or just, outline did that set for your offense today? Didn't take a lot of threes in the first half.
Beck Gardner also received praise from DeMarco for her consistency. Her ability to handle the ball, hit threes, and bring defensive effort stood out as stabilizing qualities in an otherwise uneven performance from New York. On the Indiana side, Stephanie White spoke glowingly about Raven Johnson following the game. She noted that the team simply played differently with Johnson on the floor, a meaningful observation from a head coach who is still calibrating her rotations in the early days of camp. White described Johnson as someone who plays with intention in everything she does, communicates constantly, and never forces the action.
Or just, outlined that set for your offense today. Didn't take a lot of threes in the first half. How do you feel like the group responded to that?
In terms of schematically
in terms of the challenge, the unique style of defense Indiana's playing.
Oh yeah, I mean they've obviously some of them have been together a little bit, and they have their brand of basketball, and I thought they were physical. They did a good job defensively. I think for us, we were just trying to really get into our stuff early. Run one, maybe two sets, just find the rhythm. We haven't been together long, and so.
She acknowledged that the offensive side of the game will continue to develop as Johnson learns how to navigate WNBA defensive schemes, which differ significantly from international basketball. But the defensive instincts, the length, the recovery ability, White was direct in saying those things cannot be coached. They are already there, and they are going to keep showing up night after night. The result reinforced what the Fever had been building toward heading into the new season.
Two sets, just find the rhythm. We haven't been together long, and so I think it was important for us. As far as the three-point attempts, it's one of those things where if we can get to the rim or we're getting to the foul line, we're okay with not taking a ton of threes. So I'd have to look at it.
Stewie, for you, obviously you made those 2 threes. You've talked a lot about your health and how you feel so much healthier. Can you take us through maybe how much that helps you be able to really hit those shots? And
without Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall, or Dantas even suiting up, Indiana still put together a dominant performance against one of the league's marquee franchises on the road. The depth held up, the bench delivered, and the defensive energy carried for extended stretches. The rest of the WNBA now has a clear early data point on what this team intends to be. The New York Liberty's defensive approach against Indiana in the preseason game deserves a closer look, specifically in terms of what they were trying to accomplish against Caitlin Clark and how well it worked early on.
Take us through maybe how much that helps you be able to really hit those shots and not really feel rushed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just starts with having a good base and foundation. So when I'm able to kind of really just load from my toes all the way through, I just have the confidence in my shot, and really just kind of getting back into that rhythm from this entire off season with Unrivaled, and then my little short stint overseas, and excited to
The Liberty did not phone this in, at least not at the start. They picked Clark up at 94 feet, blitz screens, and worked to push her into uncomfortable spots in the half court while cutting off her preferred passing angles. The goal was not to strip the ball. It was not purely about fatigue either, though that is certainly a secondary benefit.
Me just get it up right here. We're going to go and have my completely scuffed paint online. We're bringing it back out. We're bringing it back out, the paint, to describe where Caitlin Clark was, what they were trying to do with Caitlin Clark. So, let me get the brush here. So, we have the half court around here. Let's go halfway line. So what they were trying to do was,
the primary objective was to get the ball out of her hands before Indiana could run the action they want to run. That action, the Clark and Aaliyah Boston two-man game, is the core of what makes Indiana dangerous. The structure works like this. Clark brings the ball up into the mid-range area while Boston hovers around the elbow. Kelsey Mitchell positions on the weak side.
Trying to do was, that's poor. That's even worse. There we go. There's the three-point line. There's the key. So, with Caitlin Clark, what they were trying to do a lot of time is they were trying to kind of force her almost into this range right here. And a lot of time when the ball was kind of here, what they were doing for the defenders was they were getting a defender here and getting a defender here, if at all possible. It looked like what they were trying to do was, in the half court, was cut off any of Caitlin's passing angles.
The play either develops into a pitch pass to Boston leading into a dribble handoff, or Clark drives off a screen with Boston rolling or popping depending on the coverage. Sophie Cunningham typically drops to the corner as the spacing piece. What makes this particularly difficult to guard now is Boston's expanded shooting range. She can take that handoff fake and turn directly into a three-point attempt, which she hits at a respectable rate. That means the post defender can no longer hedge aggressively.
It looked like what they were trying to do was, in the half court, was cut off any of Caitlin's passing angles. But they did leave a lot of, like, Mo Billings got it once. But the Caitlin and Aaliyah two-man game is one thing that I think what the Liberty were doing in defense, it would not have worked with. So, if you guys don't know what Caitlin and Aaliyah two-man game is, so basically, Caitlin dribbles the ball up in this range right here. Aaliyah is always going to be hovering around here, because a lot of the time, whatever happens, it's going to be Caitlin coming off this way. So, normally,
soft hedging is equally dangerous because Boston can attack off the catch. With Mitchell as the third option on the weak side, shooting at around 40% from three, once Indiana gets into that action, there is no clean answer on the defensive end. All three players need to be functioning for it to fully work, but the threshold is low. If even one of Clark, Boston, or Mitchell is playing well on a given night, Indiana can beat anyone. The full court pressure works against this setup for a specific reason.
Kelsey Mitchell is here. And then you're going to see whoever the other big is, probably going to be Billings. And then you're going to have, let's just say, Sophie here. So what normally happens is, drops to the corner, stays, and then you're going to see Caitlin either dribbling off a screen or the pitch pass. So it's either a pitch pass to Aaliyah and then coming off a DHO.
When Clark is picked up at half court and faces any form of resistance, the current coaching philosophy instructs her to release the ball immediately rather than force anything. Under Christie's sides, whoever received that outlet pass would immediately return it to Clark. The system was built to re-involve her as quickly as possible after any pressure situation. That is no longer the operating principle. Now when Clark gives the ball up under pressure, the motion offense absorbs it, and whoever holds it makes the next decision.
What happens in that range? Sorry, Leah normally sets screen up a little bit higher. So what'll end up happening after that is Caitlin drives this way. Sophie drops to this corner most of the time. Sometimes she'll be on the other corner. It is what it is. If Caitlin makes a drive, Kelsey Mitchell makes a read. Most of the time, the post player will go to here. If post player makes that curl, Kelsey Mitchell darts down. If that post player doesn't make the curl and Aaliyah Boston rolls, Kelsey Mitchell comes up. If Aaliyah Boston pops, or she makes a read where sometimes up. If Aaliyah Boston pops, or she makes a read where sometimes she kind of short rolls and it gets the ball in around this range here, it ends up being a pass to Aaliyah and Kelsey Mitchell. And if that ball ends up going to Aaliyah, this post player comes under and Kelsey Mitchell darts to the basket. That is their normal set with Caitlin Clark. And in the half court, what the Liberty were doing worked very well, because what they did was, so Caitlin would give the ball up to, let's just say it's Sophie or it's Kelsey or whoever it is. They literally just had a defender here. Didn't full denial on Caitlin Clark. And there was a one where when KK got fouled for the free throw, Caitlin tries to make a cut, and you can see the hand is up her jersey. Like, she has a hand all the way up her, like grabbing her jersey when she's trying to cut. Like, that is the way she is being. She is straight up being guarded. Like, she was being manhandled off the ball. And in the full court, being manhandled off the ball. And in the full court, so we're going to go new here. No. In the full court here, so let's just say we're here. The halfway line's here. The basket is here. What was happening is, off these inbounds, Caitlin was picking the ball up, and they were Caitlin was kind of getting it here. They weren't trying to strip her. It was just, they had a defender kind of in this range here. It was Rebecca Gardner at different stages. It was Annalie Maley. I think Sabrina